We're here at Cape Canaveral Cultural and Leisure Services Board meeting, June 27th. We'll have a call to order. Can we have the roll call, please?
Yes. Angela Trulock,
Here.
Mary Muscara,
Here.
Joel Fair,
Here.
Betsy Ronk,
Here.
and Kathy Parks is not here.
Okay. Next will be public participation. Is there any member of the public here who would like to address any of the items that do not appear? Oh, wait, we don't have. Yep, that is, oh, right. I didn't have it right in front of me. Who would like to address any items that are, that do not appear on the agenda, or any agenda item that is listed on the agenda for final action by the city council? Any members of the public? Is there anyone, are we online? Okay, is there anyone online? who would-
No,
Okay.
we don't do two-way for
Okay.
this meeting.
Great, okay.
Makes it a
So,
little
next
easier
we'll
to
move to action items. To approve or amend the agenda, do I hear a move to approve or amend the agenda?
I would make a motion to approve the agenda as it's written.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Do we have to
Angela Trulock,
approve? Oh, yeah.
Mary Muscara,
Four.
Joel Fair,
4.
Betsy Ronk.
Next, a motion to approve the minutes for the May 30th meeting. Do I hear a motion for that?
I would motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
Angela Trulock, Mary Muscara,
Four.
Joel Fair,
4.
and Betsy Ronk.
Okay. So this evening especially, we're here to review the submitted applications for appointment and interview the available applicants for the vacancies on the board here. We'll be speaking with Brad Purvell and Virginia Scott. Are you here tonight? Wonderful. I guess if you'd like to come forward, Brad Purvell, and introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself and why you're interested in serving for the board.
Hey, good evening, everyone. I know everyone's concerned about the rain. It's going to end in about 45 minutes. No more concern on that. My name is Brad Purvell, and I'd like to thank everyone, the board, and also the director and deputy director. Unfortunately, I had to miss a meeting or two due to work requirements. To be clear on the question, are you asking two questions? What do I believe are my qualifications to be on the board, and why do I want to be on the board? Is that correct?
That sounds like we would love to hear about them.
Great, thank you. What I believe my qualifications are, I currently run a $60 million North American sales organization for a Madeline cookie company. I'm fully responsible for profit, loss, growth, and budgeting. So I understand how to make money, how to get money, and how to budget that money. I have 8 brokers, food brokers, that report to me, and I also have 1 administrative assistant, so I understand management of personalities. My company considers me a futurist. Before, they never looked to the future. So right now I'm looking at January, March, April of 2026 of what we need to put out in the marketplace. I've been described as being adaptable. I've been described as being self-motivated. I guess in sales, you have to have that. I'm solution-oriented, whether I focus on the process, and sometimes you have to go around the process to get things done. And I'm also very good at managing relationships. And I believe the above attributes I've demonstrated to the city in 3 different events in the last couple of years. The first event, I initiated the concerned voting citizens of Cape Canaveral to save the trees around City Park. The plan was to cut down, they call them specimen trees. I call them legacy trees because a lot of them are older than we are. And we worked that with City Council, other people, and we saved the trees, the majority of those trees, other than that boo-boo tree by the splash pad. Don't know what else to call that tree. About 18 months ago, there was an instance of anti-Semitism in Cape Canaveral. There was many bags of rabbit food with anti-Semitic sayings in these bags thrown on our driveways. I brought that up to the City Council about we need a proclamation of anti-hate and anti-discrimination. The previous proclamation only dealt with the Rodney King situation. However, that was revised and redone, and it's now hanging in the lobby of City Hall. And lastly, to demonstrate how to solve a problem, go around problems, I worked with the deputy director of Park and Rec here, or Cultural Leisure Services, to try and get the splash pad open 7 days a week. We spent $500,000 on the pad, and 50% of the days that people are off from work, it was closed. So with creative wording, vetting, the city did a great job in getting that open for 7 days. Now, why on the board? I'm winding down my professional career, okay? And I want to do something for the city that I've lived in since 1987. I think I have something to offer to the city. So everyone understands, I have no skin in the game. And what I mean by that, I don't play pickleball or tennis or racquetball or run in the 5K run. I have no interest in real estate. I don't manage any properties. All I want to do is do what I believe and what the board believes is right for the community. I do believe the rec department, lack of a better term, sorry for that, not making that long. Thank you. I believe they're on the right track. I believe the city, in the beginning, a lot of people were NIMBYs, not in my backyard, but I believe a lot of the new buildings that have been built are not in people's backyards, but they're an asset to the community. It's a better asset to the community than building parking garages to get income. Hopefully these buildings will break even, okay, with income that's being generated, if not more, so we can expand. I do know, I'm not really sure of the mission statement of the rec department, but I do know the rec department is all-encompass of just about everything. I mean, we have athletic activities, special events, we have the weekly newsletter, we have the state of the city, it goes on and on and on. That's a lot of responsibility with minimal people operating at that, and they do a good job. But I believe my vision is we cannot just have physical activities for the community. We need to have more cultural arts brought into the community. There. brought into the community, because that'll make a much stronger community. The Cape Center, I believe, is a great start for some of the arts, but I think we need to do more for music and more for theater. We need to bring more young people, and when I say young people, I don't mean teens and tweens. I'm talking about the young families that are trying to come back into Cape Canaveral. And we have to remember, with all the SpaceX and the Starship and the Starlink and Blue Origin, we're going to get these people back into our community. And to make a strong community, we need a lot of diverse community actions. Most importantly, when we bring young families and can attract young families into our little community here, that'll make our elementary school so much stronger. To move into a community that has a strong recreation department, that has, for community involvement, that has a local elementary school, all that's going to do is bring in better quality people to buy houses, better quality people to pay the exorbitant rents in houses nowadays, and most importantly, the future of Cape Canaveral is families. It's not increasing short-term vacation rentals. That'll be a downfall, I believe, for like our elementary school. Lastly, and don't laugh, it's kind of a legacy in my mind. My mom began the Cultural Arts Council of Sayreville, New Jersey. She was the president as a volunteer for 27 years, and her council was funded by the Recreation Department. They put on shows, theater shows in the high school gym. They put up bands in what was Kennedy Park, still is Kennedy Park. And a funny thing about the bands, she hired 2, 3, 4 times this 8th grader, John Giovanni. I'm sure you guys don't know who that is, okay? But now you know who he is. He's John Bon Jovi. So he came from Sayreville, and my mom kind of found him. So I guess that's why I want to be on the board. Any questions, please?
You're a great salesman.
Did you bring us any medalines?
You know, I have it on my desk, but my spouse said, she says, you don't want to do that.
You don't want to go.
Well, Brad, I am a little familiar with you. We took the yoga
Yes.
on Wednesday, but I've seen you at a number of things around town, and I do know how committed you are. Seen you at council meetings when we had the meeting at the Radisson with everybody. So I do know your commitment and what you're trying to do for Cape Canaveral.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. May I dovetail off of that for a minute? A concern I do have, at the last Leisure Rec meeting, there was a comment, and I hope I did not hear this, but I did, that when they play pickleball in the gymnasium at the C5 Center, we don't have dividers, so when it's inclement weather, that the children in summer camp can't go in there. And is that correct?
It's the other way around.
It's the opposite. The children go in and they can't play pickleball.
No.
Okay, good, because I know when we did yoga, we got kicked out. Good, okay, thank you. Any other questions, please?
I just wanted to say thank you so much for your, all the thought that you put into this, and I really enjoyed listening to all the things that you have had in your experience and your thoughts of what you'd like to see, and just your love for the city. It was really enjoyed and really appreciate that you'd like to join the board here.
Well, thank you, thank you.
Me too, Mr. Purvell. I appreciate your thoughtfulness and the amount of concern that you carry for the city that I love too. So thank you very much.
Mr. Purvell is my dad,
Okay. All right.
and he got promoted a few years ago.
Okay.
Okay, my name is Brad.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brad.
Thank you.
Did Betsy, did you have anything?
No, it was great. Thank you very much for all you do for the city.
Okay, next, we'd like to hear from Virginia Scott. Hi, Virginia.
Can you hear me? I'm Virginia Scott. I'm Jenny to most people who know me. I have been in the city of Cape Canaveral permanently since the middle of 2020. I bought a place in 2012. I used to live in Orlando, Winter Springs, and bring my camper over and camp at Jetty Park, and just loved this area. And we went to Texas for a few years, and when COVID hit, we were able to come back. We didn't know it was permanent at that time, but it ended up being permanent. I'm retired now. I am a member of the Florida Bar, so I'm a lawyer. I worked for a law firm in downtown Orlando doing trial work, mostly insurance defense type of things. I worked then for Siemens Corporation, which used to be Westinghouse. The office was over there by UCF, across the street from UCF. They have a big kind of campus over there across from the UCF campus. And we were the power generation division. So for that job, I did, power plant contracts with a group of people, engineers, other lawyers. We negotiated with most of the power companies or municipalities to sell, either a whole power plant where we built it or had, and then the other thing was we would sell the large pieces of equipment. So I did that, for a number of years, and then I ended up working for the division that sells like the transmission and distribution equipment, and that was located in, it's out of state, but I was working remote at that time. But when I was in Florida, I worked for the Orlando office. So I did that until 2015. I have been a member of the rec center. I'll call it the rec center. I know it's the community center, since, I was waiting for it to open. And when I saw that there was, a need, there was something flashing across the board out there that they wanted, volunteers. So I volunteered. And then I saw how many people volunteered for it. I was like, wow, But I love, everybody says I love Cape Canaveral. Well, I do. But I think that you guys are doing it, the people who are getting, the changes I've seen in the last decade are just, they're amazing, especially the community center and the Veterans Park. So I know that, getting people involved in the community improves the quality of life in the community. And I enjoy, the events that we have, like, Friday Fest. I planted a few plants in the Veterans Park during that, event. I've picked a few weeds, but I haven't really been able to do, as much as I wanted to do. But I do go down to the rec center, and, I work out down there, and I have a concept of what makes this area really nice for people. And I'd like to continue that concept, which is way too, my concept is probably too involved to explain in this meeting, and it's not important. But my desire is that we have continued growth, but in a good, positive way. And that we remain kind of the small town that we are, and we don't lose that charm because of all the growth that is coming in. And I know you may have some additional questions, but I have participated in, extracurricular activities while I was working. I've been on a few committees or boards, mostly in Texas. I didn't do any, state or federal. It was mostly like local associations. I was a CASA volunteer. I was a foster parent. It was a foster parent association. So those have been my focus. My focus has mostly been on children, families, the Department of Children and Families, or we call, some of the acronyms are different in the two states, but that's been my focus. But I also, my mom is here with us. She's 97, so I have that responsibility also. But I have plenty of time to devote to what I understand that this may entail. So that's all. Any questions?
No, just thank you very much for your.
Thank you.
We appreciate it
Appreciate
very
it. Thank
much.
you.
We appreciate the fact that, you want to give more and volunteer, and it's not like people have to do amazing things before in their life. We're just so happy that people want to step up and, be
Yeah,
there.
I was, wow, look at all these people who applied.
That's what we said too. Wow.
Yeah, I mean, that's a first. Heck, things I've been involved in, you kind of have to try to
Right.
drag people kicking through the door,
I don't know what
way
they
it was.
did. I don't know what they did or put on that
Well,
board, but
everybody sees what's happening. Thanks.
thank you very much,
Thank
Jenny.
you.
Okay. At this point,
Like me to kind of go into a little summary of how we can go forward?
please do, Molly.
This is a special meeting. The entire purpose of this special meeting was to give a couple of the people that weren't able to make the last one the opportunity to come. So when I typed up the agenda item for this, I wanted to, we still have one outstanding person that has not responded here nor there. She said she couldn't make this meeting, but she didn't express interest formally on whether or not she was still interested in serving on this board or any other ones. And that's one of the things that the clerk's office is very dialed into. If for whatever reason you submit an application, we will, I almost sound like the recording, we will retain your application for approximately 3 years unless you deliberately and directly reach out to the clerk's office and say, I'm no longer interested or able to serve on the board. So with respect to the 2 vacancies and then the 2 alternates that this board recommended that the council consider, you have a couple options today. The city attorney provided me with direction on how to best keep a nomination or a recommendation process manageable for something of this size, because obviously this is an unprecedented situation. So each of you have been provided with a ballot that explains how the city attorney has advised us to go through with this. But if you look at the subject and the recommendation, I put all of it on you. So review the applications for appointment, interview the available applicants, and make recommendations for appointment by the city council as the board deems appropriate. If you would like to wait for confirmation that, I think the lady that wasn't able to respond was Lucia Povisi. I apologize, she's not here to defend herself on my mispronunciation. But you could either move to make recommendations tonight, and the instructions for that are on the ballot forms in front of you. Or you could hold off and make recommendations at the next regular meeting, which will be July 25th. But it's entirely up to you. If you move forward with recommendations tonight, the next steps are for me to complete an agenda item for the July 16th City Council agenda for your recommendations to be interviewed. The code indicates that not only does the board have to interview, but council has to interview as well before final appointments are made based on your recommendations. So it's entirely up to you.
So for clarification, there was a list of 9 applicants at one point. And you said that we have not heard from Ms. Popvici,
Yeah. Lucia, her first name's a little easier.
but Ms. Price and Ms. Raymond are no longer applicants.
Ms. Price withdrew her application. Her husband serves on another board, and they didn't want to juggle 2 schedules for that. Former council member Raymond did come to a city council meeting and say that she was still interested in serving. I would have to confirm with the city attorney and the clerk's office and go back and listen to see if she was not withdrawing from this board or she was still interested in joining other boards, because at that meeting where she was interviewed, no actual formal action was taken, so it kind of left all of us in a little bit of a limbo.
Okay.
I mean, it just appears to me that if there hasn't been anything documented or formal for her to say, I'm no longer going to be considered, and it seems like, that we need to have that before we dismiss her recommendation and open it up to 2 full applicants again.
And that can be something that we can request of her to send to the clerk's office.
Right.
And clear that up so that we have a clear path forward without any gray areas.
Exactly.
I will say for clarity, we have recommended her. We sent her to council. I don't think that we would need to send her to council again. I think that would be on council to figure out. I think what we have is 6 applicants with 4 known available positions. So we could tonight say of these 6 that we have, because we've already done our portion with other people, we could say with these 6 that we have and the 4 known availabilities, we can make a recommendation to council. My only concern is that we don't have a full board here, but that's fine. That's why we're doing this, to get to get it so that we can have a full board here. My other thought in the matter is the longer we don't make a recommendation, the longer we drag the applicants through the process, and we want to expedite if we can.
And I agree with you completely.
Okay.
I think, yes.
Ms. Ronk, any thoughts?
This is Betsy. Yeah, I agree, Joel, that we proceed with the 6 that we have heard tonight and send that to council, and then it's up to them to do what they want to do anyway. We're just giving a recommendation and they can sort it all out on their side, but at least then possibly we would be able to see people more quickly.
Yep, and we've definitely seen that we can recommend and things happen. So we just do our role of recommendation.
So if we do it that way, would we have, since we've already had recommended Angela Raymond, then we just have 3 more that we would make a recommendation for, or are we?
I think 4.
Yep. I would say that
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 we would put
recommendation.
in that Angela Raymond's name would be put in again as?
No, I don't think so.
Oh.
I think that's,
So we're,
But that's not up to us, because we've already done that work and recommended her for the position. What would happen is council would have to say, okay, well, now we have, if they wanted to go back and include her in that recommendation, whatever they decide happened at city council, they could say, well, now we have 5 recommendations for 4 positions, and they would have to decide that, because we've already taken the steps with Ms. Raymond to say, yes, we interviewed her, we recommended her. As of right now, we know we have 4 open positions and 6 applicants in front of us that we can recommend forward. And that's what I would say that we should do tonight. And then it becomes council to decide, goes to council to decide, hey, here's all the recommendations for the whole year that we've had from the Culture and Leisure Services Board. How do we want to fill these positions? Because the other thing is we can recommend that we have 5 people on the board and 2 alternates, but they have to approve that even too, correct? And they haven't, did they do that at the last meeting?
No, we were
Okay.
waiting to get
Yep.
the full shebang
Yep.
before we put it out there. And the way Anthony, and the way Anthony broke it down as far as he's recommending a ranking system where you just rank 1 through 6. And then obviously your 2 lowest numbers would be your key appointments for the actual vacant seats. And then it becomes, and this was something I had to get schooled on, you don't just have 2 alternates, you have a first alternate and a second alternate, which helps you get direction. So if one person calls out, we know this is the person I call first. If they're unable to make it, then this is the person I call second. So it gives a little procedural direction for us, well, for poor Sam. And so the way he structured it with the ranking system, the person with the 3rd least amount would be recommended by you as the first alternate. The 4th least amount would be recommended as the second alternate. And that's how he's broken it down. Now, they can choose to take that and run in a completely different direction if they feel the need. I'll be working on the agenda item depending upon which way we go with this, with the city clerk's office tomorrow, so that's,
I think the other thing for us is we could go to the city council meeting also if they wanted clarity on why we'd recommend these, these 4 out of the 6, and someone could say again, well, we did recommend Ms. Raymond previously. I don't know if she's still, so if we needed more clarity, but all of that needs to happen at council meeting, because we have a role here today to take the 6 applicants and say, hey, here's where we would,
Here are the 4.
rank them in, yep. And then they're going to decide how many people will be on the board, and then maybe take our recommendations for who those people are.
good idea, because by that time, it'll be clarified whether Angela Raymond wants to continue. And if we could preface their discussion of the recommendations of why we have these 4, and whether Angela Raymond is still a recommendation, also, we'll know by then to also say that.
right.
Well, I would think that you, Molly, you would be able to get that information to them as to why we're submitting 4 people on their agenda, and the confusion that we have over Angela Raymond, that we had put forward previously.
Yeah, as far as the beginning of this meeting, the clerk's office had not received anything from Ms. Raymond expressing, a desire for her application to remain active for this board or any other boards, or that she would like to withdraw her application. So that will need to be done through the clerk's office, and they'll be the ones to at least give us the confirmation that's required to formally withdraw an application from consideration entirely, because I believe she listed 2 or 3 other boards on her application, so even if she's not considered for this one, she may still wish to be considered for another one, but we don't have that confirmation in hand yet from her.
I think that confirmation will be very important because it will finally settle questions. Okay. So if that is the course we're going to take,
I think probably to put it in a motion, I would motion that tonight we take the 6 applicants that we have and we use the ballot process recommended by the city attorney to recommend 2 board members and 2 alternate members
Right.
to city council. Would anyone second the motion?
I'll second the motion.
Perfect.
Angela Trulock,
4.
Mary Mascara,
4.
Joel Fair,
4.
Betsy Ronk,
Or
We will also need to make a motion regarding the alternates. Or did we just include that in the motion? Okay, we put these 2 steps together.
Yeah, so
Okay.
at this point, you would go ahead and make your 1 to 6 tallies. I'll grab those from them for you. Samantha will do the math on that, and then you'll have your top 4. And based on Anthony's structure, those are your 4 recommendations in order.
While they're tallying, I just want to thank those that have come out as applicants and say 2 things. First, it's hard to make these decisions because we have great applicants. The second thing is it's easy to make the decision because it's not a matter of posturing or trying to be on a board. It's people that want to serve the city. And so whether that's as a primary board member or an alternate or somebody that we might call later, like that's the beauty of all of the applicants is that everyone just wants to see this city grow and serve the city well. So thank you very much for those that came out today and came out last meeting. So appreciate that.
Second, your remarks there. I certainly do agree with it. And that's one of the great things about Cape Canaveral, that there's so many people that want to come out and help. Okay, thank you, Jean.
Careful on the way home.
And just for the FYI part of it, the 2 applicants that are recommended as primary board members will fill out the remaining terms of, I guess it would be Mr. Holmes and then Mr. Truitt, which I didn't have the pleasure, I think I saw him once. So those terms actually end September 30th, start anew on October 1. So if those that do get appointed decide it's not for them, they can change their mind at that time or before. Or they will be asked to renew and do a second term. And then looking into, as Mr. Preval says, living in the future, that's where all of us are. October of 2025, we have 2 more vacancies coming up because I believe Joel terms out and I believe Kathy terms out. So, I mean, in essence, we have enough to fill everybody for the next two rounds, if need be. And if everyone's still interested, I'm not sure, because I have never seen the alternate process in play. I don't know how that works. So I don't know if those are regular terms as alternates, the same as your terms are. So that'll be a learning lesson for all of us in the process.
Because none of the other boards currently have alternates.
Not to my knowledge.
And so one of the things that we need to maybe in July, I don't know if we decide those things for our board, since we're going to be the first board using alternates, or if it's something that the city needs to decide for alternates on the board. Is like if someone were to roll off midterm, does the alternate slot into that position?
The first alternate.
First
would go-
alternate slots
would
in,
go
becomes an official board member. The second alternate moves to first alternate.
Right.
And then you could go back and refill that alternate spot.
Yeah.
And then the first alternate holds the duration of that slot. So then
Yes.
they would have to sign on again for a second term. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
But none of that's written down. So like while we
Right.
say, yeah, I think that's what,
We're
I
pretty
think that's what
sure
should
that's how
happen.
it goes.
And it makes sense. We need it probably written down somewhere and then pass through city council to say, yes, that is the way that we're going to proceed with alternates. And you would vote new alternates onto the board. Because it does change
It does.
pretty dynamically how we've done this board and how we would do other boards that would have alternates, because very few people would be voted directly onto the board. Many of them would be voted into the alternate spot
Exactly.
that would slot up when those positions come. So it's a lot to think about, a lot of changes.
That we're kind of moving the ball forward. You know,
That we
leading the
are.
charge.
We don't know where we're going, but we're moving forward.
Right, exactly. Do we wait for the decision, or do we move on to your staff reports?
I think she's almost done. John, do you have anything to report? We can kind of move on to staff reports anyway.
No, ma'am.
I really don't have much of anything. We have rescheduled the Veterans Memorial Park rededication, and that will be Thursday, July 18th. Same bat time, same bat channel, 10 a.m., and we're looking forward to a beautiful, sunny, rainless, nice, nice, not soggy grass.
Missed that. What happened? 'Cause I was
That
down
was,
south.
it was scheduled for the week that they were planning gloom and doom all 5 days, and it was just,
Okay.
it was easier to reschedule the tent people because they're kind of non-refundable than to roll the dice. And of course, it was a beautiful.
Beautiful day.
It was a beautiful day. It was 1,000 degrees, but it was a beautiful day.
walk through Patriots Park. It's very nice. The benches are under the trees, nice and shaded, it's soft. I did see the bench that doesn't have any seats yet.
They,
I know it will.
when they drilled the holes, everything's pre-drilled, they were off-center. So we called them and they said, okay, we'll send you. So instead of sending us the seats, they sent the forms and everything
Yeah.
built around. So we had to call them back, so the seats should be here tomorrow.
That's
And,
good, because it is nice.
It is.
I want to see some kids using it.
They are.
I haven't seen them yet, but
Yeah, there's
it's,
a few in
yeah,
the
it's,
neighborhood we see out there.
it's really
regular.
nice.
Oh, that's
But-
good.
We're hopeful, we want to see what the fallout's going to be from the car wash.
From the car wash, I
wash.
know. I did look at the garden, well, oh, that's
That's a decision you guys are going to have to.
terrible.
Oh, really? Because the.
The car
because
wash.
of the car wash, is it because of more water that comes out or just
Oh,
the
the
building?
shade.
All righty. Nothing we do can be easy. So we have, we were looking for a first, second, third, fourth, and we have a clear first. We have a tied for second and a tied for third. And then there's a fourth. So there's a couple different ways we can do it. We could separate the one that's a clear first, and then we can revote based on the rest of them. Or we could, and this is something Samantha suggested, we could take those tied twos and the three and base it on date of application. I don't know if that's something you want to consider, if anybody has another idea. I think Ms. Ronk, you were,
I didn't hear what you said, Molly, base it on, what did you say, take the twos and the threes and do what?
okay, so we have the first, the lowest scored individual, who is the first preference, has a total of 4. And then for the second lowest number, we have 2 individuals that came in with 15. And then we have, right after that, 2 more individuals that tied for, hold on one second. Okay. So, like I said, we have a clear first recommendation with 4. We have a clear, we have 2 second recommendations at 15. We have 1 with 16, and then 2 at 17. So, I can give you this list, and you guys can see the circles that I just talked in. And I will help you to the best of my ability.
But without seeing the list, if we have 2 ties at 17, I think we can eliminate 2, and then we can go with,
Yeah. And move
and we could even take the 2 that are tied for second and do a second ballot real fast that would say, who do you want to be the primary and who do you want to be the alternate? And that would probably eliminate that would probably get us to where we want to be as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Can we do that? Does everybody agree with that?
Yes, that sounds.
Betsy, did you understand what I was saying?
Let me just rephrase it in case I misunderstood it. Obviously, there's a number 1, and then the second person who had the 2 people who had 15, we would re-vote on them, and hopefully there would be a clear number 2 and a clear number 3, and then the number 4th person was 17 or whatever that was. So that's not a problem. Is
Correct.
that where you were? coming up, okay. That person who had 17 or whatever it was, would automatically be a fourth. So we're just really positioning number 2 and number 3 slots.
Correct. So we have a clear primary and we have a clear alternate. What we have is 2 in the middle that we have to decide primary and alternate between.
Correct. One would be a primary and the other would be the first alternate.
Correct.
Yep. So, can you give us the breakdown of the numbers on all 6 people, please?
Yes, give me 1 second, I'm making a note here. All right, so starting alphabetical order, you have Carolyn with 17, Tina with 15, Brad with 4, Virginia with 15, Mary Lou with 17, and James with 16.
So, so actually, we're redoing the 15s and the 16 is the fourth alternate and the 2 17s are not being considered then.
I think one, yeah, that would give you your four people.
Okay.
So we
So
just,
basically, we're just going to revote between Tina and Jenny.
right.
Yes. Give them their
We have
sheets.
papers
We
in
have
front
got
of us.
paper here, we can probably
be-
put.
Yep, there
our-
you go. You
Let's
can,
just write down
Yeah.
primary and then
Right.
the name. And again, the 2 that we're voting, 1 primary, 1 alternate is Miss Tina and Miss Jenny. And then
Wait, Tina and who?
Virginia Scott.
Oh, yeah, okay, that's what I thought. I didn't.
So basically, you just need to put one name on there, and that person would be the primary. The other person who
The alternate.
would be the alternate.
correct.
Okay, you there?
When I read this, the attorney's recommendation, I was filled with hope. It sounded good on paper.
And then the other alternate?
Just the 2 names.
Right.
That's-
Okay,
I got it.
okay, sorry. Okay, you got it. All right, I'll put you back on. You there? Thank you.
Watch, we did it again. I said, watch, we did it again. I know. We did it again, didn't we?
Would you now like to go to date of application? Or would you like to try again?
Mr. Ronk, it's a tie. And so I would motion that we move to separate via date of application.
Just for these two?
I didn't understand you, Joel. What did you say?
Just take whoever applied first and make them the primary, and then make the later application the alternate. The other option would be we could revote, or,
That's a one way to resolve it. I think that's a good idea, that works.
okay. Any
I agree.
second the motion?
I'll second it.
Okay,
I second the motion.
all right.
Okay, so at
I'll,
this,
let's call the roll.
Angela Trulock,
4.
Mary Mascara,
4.
Joel Fair,
4.
and Betsy Ronk.
all right, so the next step, this determined the course forward. So the next step would be for someone to make a motion nominating the 2 board member vacancies, and then do the roll call. And then a second motion would come after that, nominating the 2, or recommending the 2 alternates, and then we do a roll call, and then I will start my agenda item first thing in the morning.
So,
So I'll make a motion to name the 2 recommendations to city council for the board, for the permanent board seats to be Brad Preval and Tina Freeman.
I second it.
Angela Trulock,
4.
Mary Mascara,
4.
Joel Fair,
4.
and Betsy Ronk.
Okay.
I will motion to recommend as alternates on the board Miss Virginia Scott and Mr. James Stobie.
Second.
I would like to just amend that to say that Virginia Scott would be the first alternate and James Stobie would be the second alternate that
Thank
we're
you.
recommending.
For clarity, that's good.
I
And-
second.
Angela Trulock,
4.
Mary Mascara,
4.
Joel Fair,
4.
and Betsy Ronk.
Good.
John has no further updates. I have no further updates. So,
So, no further updates. This meeting is adjourned.
adjourn.
I would motion to adjourn.
Oh, that's right, I forgot.
You want to second it?
I'll second it. Okay.
Roll call? No, I think we just, all in favor. Aye.
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 Thank you, guys.